Okay, so please go to AKS cluster, AKS. Okay, so sorry, EKS. One second. Okay, so click on create cluster. Okay, and the recording session also. Okay, first of all, you need to create cluster. Okay, so the cluster name can be, cloud-institution, EKS. Okay, so I'm creating cluster now. Okay, so the cluster IAM role. So you can, so let's discuss this role and all later. Okay, so we don't need this so roles. So AKS cluster will create a default node. So first of all, you know what is Kubernetes? You don't know, right? You don't know what is Kubernetes? Orchestration tool for Docker. Okay, I will give you some kind of basic idea about what is this. Okay, so select role. Okay, so whatever the EKS role, whatever is their role, right? So you can just choose on that role. Okay, so VPC, which VPC you want to connect it, you can connect it. Subnet, whichever the subnet is there. Okay, so you can select all the subnets, because whenever you're creating a cluster, right, the nodes will be distributed with the different clusters. I will explain it to you all these things later. Okay, so now you can click on create. Create recommender role. Create recommender role. If you click down, there will be some kind of roles. Click on some roles. Or okay, I'll just click on create some roles. Okay, I'm showing it to you. Click on role. Okay, so AWS services. Okay, EKS. Okay, auto cluster. Are you following? Are you creating? Huh? Create? No. I'm just giving you for time for this one only. You guys created, right?
Yeah, but I was on the EKS cluster.
Which option?
EKS cluster. No, by creating for the IAM role.
Uh-huh.
There you chose something else. I chose
This one, huh?
EKS cluster.
This one, huh?
No, there. Creation of the recommended role. There, yeah.
Okay.
There, scroll down. There is EKS cluster. I chose that same one now.
Allow access to other AWS services resource that require a operate auto mode cluster managed by EKS. So we can choose anything, So it's telling me that okay, we can also choose this one also. So you can choose any kind of. See, thing is, what's telling is that allow Kubernetes, control plane to be managed by AWS resource on your behalf. Second option, and also we can choose, auto cluster. It is a by default one. Allow access to other AWS service resources that are required to operate a auto mode cluster managed by AKS. So this one is telling is that you're giving access to other resources also, other services. For example, if you want to connect from EC2 instance to AWS resources, to the cluster, you can also do that one. Okay, so okay, for now we can just do this one. Okay, allow AKS manage to cluster on your behalf. So what was showing in the internet? Which option? Second option. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so cluster policy. The policy is going to be, role name is going to be AKS cluster role hyphen cloud. I'm just giving this name. Okay, so create role. Okay, role is created, right? So now go back here and refresh it, and you can see the cloud, this one will be there. So the storage policy, all these things will be created.
Same for node?
Yeah?
Node, I am node.
What?
Below that, below cluster I am node. Node I am node.
Yeah, you can just choose the, there's already these things there, right?
No, so the first time you have to create.
Okay, so I think I already created multiple times. So AWS services, now you do for node. Okay, so
In this I chose EC2.
node group, right? EC2 instance.
Yeah, after this I chose EC2.
What is this?
You need to search there. Go on the search. Yeah. Search.
No. What this one is telling?
This is for IAM
Node. So node need an EC2 instance IAM role to launch a register with a cluster to create a new role. Okay, for example, what she is telling is that we are giving access to the EC2 instance. If you want to connect from EC2 instance, you can just create it. Okay, so no, you can give EC2. You can EC2 full access also you can give. Otherwise, we are not going to connect it. We are not going to connect it through the EC2 instance and all. Okay, I'm going to show you that how to connect it. You can connect it from the AWS itself. So these things and all is not mandatory. Okay, so whatever the role you created, you just create a role. Okay, so what role we created now? Amazon EKS auto role node. Oh, sorry. This one, right? Okay. So now click on create. That's it. As simple as that. Okay. Are you creating? So first of all, you understand, why are we creating, what is the Kubernetes cluster first of all? Okay, so what is control plane? What is control plane? And then what is node group? So I'm going to explain it to you, this thing in detail. Okay, so that sir is coming. Okay, it'll take some time. So now let's go to compute. Yeah, so it will take some time to connect it. So meanwhile, what I'm going to do is I'm going to AKS cluster now. I'm going to the portal. Okay, so it will take some time. So meanwhile, I'm going to create a AKS cluster. AKS cluster, you're the only one there, right? Okay, nobody else is there. Okay, so in this case, the AKS is already created for me. No, AKS is already created for you. AKS is already created. I'm going to show it to you how to create AKS cluster. Okay, so click on AKS Kubernetes services. So click on create cluster. Okay, once again, I'm just using this here because for some error, different error is coming. I don't know why. That quarter error is coming. Just keep it like this only. Where is I think this is not available in this region. List of available regions is Sweden Central. Can you choose this one? Choose this region. UK West. Okay, so now for Azure, for you, sir. Okay, what we have to do is that subscription. Okay, so resource group. I'm going to create a new resource group. Resource group name is going to be AKS Cloud Institution. Okay, so now, sorry. Okay, AKS one. So simply I'm just giving this one. Okay, so dev and test. Okay, which kind of what kind of this thing you wanted to create? Can you choose any one of these regions? Okay, can you choose any one of this region? Okay, I'm going to give dev test is kind of a it's a default one. Huh? So if dev test means the cluster I'll explain you what is dev test and what is advanced ones. So dev test means it's kind of a practiced cluster kind of thing. So it will be having a less compute power. Okay, let me explain it to you. Meanwhile it's creating, right? Cluster name will be AKS cluster. Okay, AKS-1 is the cluster name. Okay, so which region you want to create? So you can create in any region. You know the regions, right? You guys know regions. Okay, any region you can create, and then the pricing tier is free, and the default one will be the version, Kubernetes version. Which version you want to install? So if for everything we have versions, right? Like that. For this we have which version we will be creating. Okay, so here agent pool. We need to choose. So what is node pool? So node pool means, okay, for example, let me explain it to you. What is node pool? When everybody is coming, right? So I'm going to choose one of the node pool, like this one.
Default one.
Yeah, default one, whatever it is there. Node pool name is simply node pool. Okay. So now node pool 1. Okay, so add. Okay, so next. Okay, so if you click on review and create, that's it. We don't need to do anything. Okay, I already created one cluster because it will take some 10 minutes of time to create it. Okay, choose one validation faster. Okay, otherwise I'll give you this laptop. Have you created a cluster? Have you created AKS cluster is created? That's what AKS only. I'm confusing with this one. Okay, so now I created a cluster. If you go to Kubernetes cluster, Kubernetes services, now I already have created cluster because today morning itself I created cluster because it will take some 10 to 15 minutes of time to create it. Okay, so if you go with this one, like node pool, we have this one. So now we are going to see two things. Okay, one is control plane, another one is node pool. If you go for interview, they'll be asking you a question about what is control plane and what is a node pool. Okay, so for example, let's see about so how Kubernetes. Let's see what's Kubernetes, right? We already explained to you what is Kubernetes before, probably. So if you don't understand, just please listen now. So now, if this is AWS or Azure region, okay. So inside this one is the Kubernetes cluster. It's AKS or AKS cluster. So inside this one, okay. So outside is the AWS or Azure, here AKS or AKS cluster. Okay, now what is control plane? Control plane means, so usually generally, right, Kubernetes means master and nodes. We can also say that master and slaves. Master and slaves. What is master and slaves? So first of all, you should understand what is Kubernetes itself. First of all, so Kubernetes is the container orchestration tool. So we have a Docker. So Docker is not completed for you guys, right? Okay. So the Docker is one of the concepts. So Docker is kind of a very small OS image. You know, so you guys know Dockers, right? Okay, so you guys know Docker? Docker? Okay. So, okay, I'll explain to you what is Docker in the later classes. First, you create this one and just get used to it. Okay. Now, this kind of a master. This is the master. It's the master, and this is the worker, or node. Node 2, node 3. Okay. So, master and worker or node. Okay, node 1, node 2, node 3 means all your containers. For example, uh, all your jobs. You know, so there is a different ways to deploy your applications, right? Okay, so you can deploy your application in each instance. For example, you want to create a web application. You know, you're installing HTTP, right? You can install a web application in EC2 instance also. Okay, you can also deploy the same web application in Docker-based application also. Docker is nothing but a small OS. It's a container. Okay, so let's consider this a small container. Container means it's nothing but the Docker. Okay, so when it comes to the Docker class, I'll explain it to you in depth. You know, first of all, today you create the cluster and get used to the cluster and how it's been using. Okay, now as part of Kubernetes, we have master component and we have worker node, node 2, node 3, node 2. Okay, these kind of components are there. Okay, now master component is nothing but the control plane, means master will be the EKS cluster itself. Master will manage all the worker nodes. All your jobs will be running inside this worker only. All the application will be running inside this worker. Okay, let's say for example you are going to deploy your application. That application will be deploying in this worker nodes. That's it. Okay, so going forward you'll get to understand more about this one. Okay, for example, if the EKS cluster is there, okay, how to connect this EKS cluster? So how to play around with? Have you created a cluster? Okay, so I'm going to connect the AKS cluster now. Click on connect. Whenever I click on connect, right, so you'll get this kind of options like this. Okay, so now, so what you have to do is, so you can see here, you know, there is one button will be there. What is this button? For Azure, it's going to be the cloud shell we used to call, you know, the cloud shell. If you click on this one, the terminal will be open like this. Okay, similarly, you can also do it for the, okay, because this I'm getting this error because the cluster is not ready yet. You know, I think it should be ready now. Okay, so now it's ready. Now, as I mentioned with you, see here the master is created. This one control plane is created. Now we need to create a nodes. How many nodes we want? So how many ever the nodes we create, okay, that many ever the instance will be created. Each instance will be created. Okay, so nodes is nothing but, for example, if you go for AKS,
In one node there will be only one instance.
one node means one instance. Okay, so one Docker instance is created now. No, I think it has already been created by yesterday, maybe. Okay, we don't want this one. So now I'm going to add the node group. Okay, node group means how many nodes we want. Means how many worker nodes we want. We all know about like different components, right? One master will be there, multiple worker nodes will be there. You know, so master will manage the workers like that. Okay, node group name will be node group 1. Okay, IAM role, okay, cluster role, whatever the roles we have created, you can just add this one. You know, if you don't have cluster role, you can create a recommended role. You know, so it will automatically create one role. Okay, now click on next. Now you see we are going to create EC2 instances. Okay, so worker node is nothing but EC2 instance. So which instance we want? Okay, so these are all the types are there. Okay, T2.medium is the instance type I'm choosing. So if you create EC2 instance, which type you choose?
T2 micro.
T2.micro. It's a free tier.
Yeah.
Okay, here, T3.medium is the basic tier that we are going to choose it. Okay. Now, desired size. Disk size means how much hard disk will be there in the each instance. Now, desired size is 2, maximum size is 2, so minimum size is maximum size is 2. Okay. So, what is desired size? Desired size means how many nodes we want. Okay. If you click on 5, like so that initially it will create 5. Okay, so maximum and minimum. So you can just do auto scaling of like desired size node must be greater than or equal to 0. Means like how much size we want initially. Based on that we can create a minimum. I want these many nodes. Maximum I can give.
Like at a time, 2 nodes will be starting in the
Yes.
each node.
You can give everything to. You can give everything to. So desired size is 2. Maximum minimum size is also 2. Maximum size is also 5. Or we can give 3.
2 machines will be starting at a time in one.
Yes. Initially, we'll be creating 2 machines. Okay, 2 machines is enough for us.
Elastic.
If you create 10 machines, you have to pay for the 10 machines.
So there is no option of creating
Huh?
no option to create nodes.
For you, have you created a cluster?
Just
No option means what option?
Set to point create node.
Huh?
Node group.
Why? See, click on compute.
It's inside compute. Okay, inside.
Now you're getting.
Node group, yes.
Okay. So click on compute. Are you following?
That's creating, sir.
Node group. Huh?
Cluster creating.
Okay. Fine. So you refresh it now. It must be created now. So your cluster is created. What happened to you? Huh? Okay, you follow this one. Okay. Okay, add node group. Okay. Select role. Create recommended role. Create role is going to be node group role. EC2 service. Allowing EC2. So here again we already created that role before. Okay, we can give the same thing. Right. Okay. So as I mentioned with you, click on next. IAM role is this one. And click on next. So desired node is going to be 2, 2, 2, 2. I want to create 2 nodes. Maximum 2 nodes, minimum also 2 nodes only. I don't want anything extra. If you want to go for a maximum 3 nodes, also you can give. Means it automatically scale. Tomorrow, now if you want to go to auto scale mode, like if you want to after creating cluster, if you want to increase the number of nodes, then you can go maximum 3 nodes. 3 nodes means 3 instances you can create, which means that the load will be distributed across all 3 nodes. Okay. Update version number. This one is not required. Okay. So next. Okay, subnet. Which are the subnets it should be creating? We have 2 subnets. Under 2 subnets, it will be creating it. 𝗁𝗂𝗏𝗂. Oh man, I created this one. I think it won't work actually. Okay, so I've created node group. So as I mentioned with you here in the AKS cluster, okay, I've connected to the AKS cluster now. So let it create. It takes some time for AKS cluster to create. Okay, so let's give it up some time. So for now, you can see this one itself. Now what you have to how to connect it? You copy this account set, copy this one, and paste it over here. Okay, and overwrite. Okay, now it's been connected. Now we go and see that Kubernetes kubectl get nodes. See, I have 2 nodes is running. So kubectl is the command for the Kubernetes. Okay, I'm going to show you that I have 2 nodes. For Azure, I created 2 nodes cluster. I've shown you, right? Now I'm going to create a 2 nodes only. So similarly, same kind of a same thing you will see in the AWS also. AWS, how many nodes we created? 2 nodes. Okay. Now let's go and see this one. Okay, I think it must be ready now. Okay, how to connect it? So connecting EKS cluster, right? It's kind of a little tricky. Okay, let's go to Google and check right how to connect to. Okay, now let's go to EC2 instance. We'll see how many instances created. How many instances must be created now? 2 instances is created now. This is for EKS cluster, right? Have you done that one? Okay, so this is for EKS cluster now. Okay, now EKS cluster is already connected. Now we are going to connect with the EKS cluster. So how to connect to EKS cluster now? How to connect to EKS cluster? How to connect to? See, there is some command will be there. It's connect to EKS cluster through Cloud Console. Cloud CLI. Okay, there is one command is there. AWS set called identity. Okay, so we need to connect like this. Okay, AWS EKS, update cluster, create kube config automatically. Okay, so update cluster, update kube config -- region, region code, and then name equal to my cluster name. Okay, so I'm going to copy the same thing. Okay, I'm going to copy this one, and before that I'm going to connect it. Right? How to connect it? As I mentioned with you, here Cloud Shell will be there. So if you can see in the top, Cloud Shell. So what do you mean by this one is that you connect it to EC2 instance, right? How you connect it? Just go and click on connect. It will connect in the browser itself, right? Similarly, this is also kind of another option. Okay, so you click on this one. Okay, it's been connected now. Okay, so waiting for environment to run. Okay, now it's been logged in. Instead of you logged in with your instances and everything, you can connect it like this also. It's pretty easy for you. Now I've copied what? AWS EKS update kube config. So now if you can see that kubectl, right? Kubectl, get nodes. It tells me that unable to connect it. Why? Because we are not connected to the cluster. Okay, what you have to do? You need to kube config -- region, and then region code. What is the region? Okay, EU North 1. Okay, EU North 1. Yes? Are you following? Okay, EU North 1. AWS EKS. AWS EKS update kube config. Have you typed it? Please type it. EU North 1. For you, which region you have created? You have to give that. You have to give that same kind of a region. Okay, because this one is very, very important in terms of interview point of view. If you go for interview, you emphasize that, sir, I know I'm very good in creating EKS cluster and connecting EKS cluster, managing the EKS cluster, all these things. If you tell, there will be a additional point be given for you. If you tell that, I know like Terraform, you can also create a Terraform using Kubernetes. Sorry, you can create an EKS cluster using Terraform itself. That's going to be a next assignment for you. Zoom. Okay, update kube-config and then type the. You can get this command in internet also. Otherwise, you can, if you want to type also, you can type. It's fine. Simple command, right?
The region, am I supposed to give Mumbai or that usually South?
Yes. See, if you are using Mumbai, okay. See, AP-South-1 is there, right? So whichever the region you are selecting, you have to give that. This is a region code. That's right. Okay. My cluster. What is my hyphen name is equal to my cluster means. So what's the cluster name? What's the cluster name for us? Cloud institution EKS cluster. This is our cluster name. Okay, just copy paste it. That's it. Okay. So added new context means we got connected to this one. Okay. Now let's see how to give some kind of a commands. What happened? Now we are going to give how to. What's the command we use to check the nodes? How many nodes are running? Which command you use? Huh? kubectl get nodes. Okay, kubectl get nodes. So now how many nodes we have created? 2 nodes we have created. Okay, so is working for you? No, update kube-config, update icon. No, command is wrong. No. Update kube-config. Update kube-config. Icon. No, you are not following that. This is a region, right?
Yeah.
Where you given region? Hyphen region.
Yeah, that's a reality. Instead of region, I'm supposed to put that AC.
No, hyphen region you have to give.
The region should be there.
Why are you giving this one? This cursor.
That is default. I don't know what is wrong with my cursor. I thought we had to remove the region.
No, hyphen region. Hyphen name.
So I have to copy the exact thing.
Now it's connected. Okay. kubectl. Okay, now we get nodes. Okay, you're done. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. So this recording only for creating a node and connecting a node. Okay, I'll send you this recording and.